Okay, so let's talk about IKEA. On the surface, it seems so simple, right? They sell you a box of parts. But that simple idea is actually one of the most brilliant and kinda sneaky retail models ever created. This is that story.
Come on, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We've all done it. You walk into that giant blue and yellow box for one thing. Just one. Maybe a lamp, some picture frames, and then bam! You walk out 3 hours later, your cart is overflowing with stuff you didn't even know existed, and you're wondering, how? How does this happen every single time?
Well, here's the secret. It is not an accident, not even a little bit. That entire experience, from that maze-like path they make you walk to the Swedish meatballs, it's all part of a meticulously engineered journey. It's designed from start to finish to do exactly that. It is a total masterclass in retail psychology.
And you might be asking, just how well does this psychological journey work? Well, this well. We're talking over $40 billion every single year. So yeah, this isn't just some furniture store. It's a global empire, and it's built on a crazy deep understanding of how our brains work. So how on earth did they pull it off?
All right, to really get IKEA's genius, we need to hop in a time machine. Because before IKEA, the whole furniture world was, well, it was totally different. It was clunky, it was exclusive, and honestly, it was really just for rich people.
Just picture it for a second. The old system was just broken. You had to go to these stuffy, super expensive showrooms. Everything was already built, which sounds nice, but it was a total nightmare to transport and store. That jacked up the prices like crazy. So buying a new couch wasn't just a purchase, it was a massive investment. If you were a young person or just starting a family, forget it. You were pretty much stuck with hand-me-downs. And right there, in that broken system, a young guy from rural Sweden named Ingvar Kamprad saw a huge opportunity. The entire empire that we know today, all of it, was built on one single, brilliant idea that just completely flipped the entire industry on its head.
So here it is, the light bulb moment. It's 1956, and Kamprad is watching one of his employees take the legs off a table just to squeeze it into a customer's car. And that's when he asks this incredibly simple but absolutely revolutionary question. Why are we even shipping assembled furniture? Why are we paying all this money to ship air?
And that one question changed everything. The Flatpack model just crushed costs everywhere. Suddenly, shipping was radically cheaper. I mean, you could fit maybe 10 tables in the space that one used to take up. Warehousing? Super efficient. But here's the truly wild part, the biggest shift. The customer wasn't just a passive buyer anymore. No, you became an active coworker. You did the assembly, and in return, you got a price that was just unheard of.
Okay, so they cracked the cost problem. That's huge. But believe it or not, that's only half the story. The next layer of genius is what they do inside the store. Because an IKEA store isn't really a store. It's a powerful, powerful sales machine that's cleverly disguised as a fun day out for the family.
This is literally how they get you. That one-way path you're forced to walk, that's not bad design, my friend. That is forced discovery. You have to see everything. Those perfect little dream rooms, they're not selling you a chair. They're selling you a whole lifestyle. And just when you're starting to get tired and hungry, boom, the restaurant is right there to refuel you. Not to make a huge profit, but to keep you in the store longer. So by the time you finally make it to that marketplace area with all the little things, you've already made big decisions, and your wallet is basically wide open for all those tiny little bargains.
But even with the cheap flat packs and the genius store maze, we're still missing the final, and honestly the most brilliant piece of the puzzle. It's what happens after you get home, and it has everything to do with that tiny, sometimes frustrating, little Allen key.
Believe it or not, psychologists actually have a name for this phenomenon. It's called the IKEA effect, and it's a real, documented cognitive bias. And it's super simple. We place a much higher value on things we helped create ourselves. That effort, that little bit of struggle, it creates this genuine sense of pride and attachment.
So all that frustration, squinting at the instructions, trying to figure out which screw is which, that is not a flaw in their design. It is their single most powerful marketing tool. Because when you're finally done, that's not just a bookcase you bought, that's a project you completed. You have a story with it now. That sweat equity creates a real deep emotional bond, not just to the bookcase, but to the entire IKEA brand.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, you realize IKEA's dominance isn't just about selling cheap furniture. Not at all. It's a complete masterclass in business strategy, built on these three pillars:
logistics, store design, and, of course, human psychology.
It really does come down to this incredible three-part playbook. First, they use the Flatpack model to get a cost advantage that nobody could touch. Second, they engineered the store itself into a psychological journey to get you to buy more. And third, the masterstroke. They leverage the IKEA effect to turn your own hard work into unconditional brand loyalty.
It's just so clever. They're not just selling you furniture, they're selling you an experience, a puzzle to solve, and that amazing feeling of accomplishment when you've built something with your own two hands. It really makes you think, right? What other businesses could totally transform themselves by making the customer part of the creation process? For more business breakdowns like this that make you